Hey, welcome back to my channel. My name is hautemesstom, and thank you so much for clicking on this video. Today, I want to play with some new to me makeup. Some of it's not new to the channel. I'm really trying to work my way through my testing drawer right now so I can move on from some things because it's just incredibly full and I just feel like I'm not getting anywhere with it. It's like I know how I feel about a lot of things, but I also feel like I haven't used a lot of it on camera. And so it becomes like this cyclical thing where it's like I don't want to only use new stuff on camera. And I use it in my free time, but sometimes I like to show you. So I'm working on a bigger video where we're going to go through the testing drawer. I'm going to like swatch things next to stuff I already have. It's a big extravaganza that I'm planning, but for right now, I have some new stuff I'd like to play with, and let's get into it. I nicked my eyebrow 1, 2, 3, 4 times while shaving it today. It was a new razor, so I'm just going to allow myself to take that. In my last video, I said my penis has been visible the whole time in the video, but I'm talking about that. It's the word penis shaped like a penis. We're going to try something new today. This is the Covergirl Essence, simply Ageless Skin Perfector Essence. I've heard people say that they use it as a primer, so I thought that would be a fun activity to do today. Instead of using one of my other primers, can you believe I almost just put that on the back of my hand? I have this sitting in front of me because I don't like putting makeup on the back of my hand. I don't normally mind the feeling of makeup on my face, clearly. I'm using a brush simply because I don't want to get my hands dirty. Something about it being on the back of my hand where it's not supposed to be is just deeply troubling to me. I've been having that Supernatural song by Ariana Grande stuck in my head almost nonstop, and I couldn't tell you any of the words, but it's supernatural. I don't know the words. I didn't love the Ariana Grande album, but I respect it. I don't think her first single made a lot of sense with the rest of the album. Like, sonically, it did not sound like any of the other songs. Okay, this one I haven't shown you on screen yet. Andromeda sent me some goodies. If you're not familiar with Andromeda, they have an Instagram, a beautiful Instagram, and we trade makeup sometimes, and they literally sent me a tracking number one day and it said, surprise. And I didn't ask what was in it, and then I got it, and it was a lot of Half Magic and a lot of About Face for me to try. We'll use some of those things today, but there was also another thing that, I actually do have a primer that's not this that I could have used. Okay, it's fine. It's fine. So they sent me a couple things from Danessa Myricks, one being Universal Blurring Balm Powder, and then they also sent me this, which is the Yummy Serum Skin Tint. Kaki, my friend Kaki over at Kaki Reviews Beauty, she and I, when it comes to complexion, vary pretty vastly on what we find to be a good complexion product. I was nervous that I wasn't going to like this. However, I've worn this many times since I've gotten it, and I'm very impressed with it. I'm a little perplexed by it, too. Like, I don't think I would call it a skin tint. It doesn't wear like a foundation, but it has the coverage of a foundation. Now, I, of course, already have some coverage on from this Covergirl, so keep that in mind when I'm applying it. I've been very impressed with this. It has like the tenacity of a foundation, the look of a foundation, but like the feeling of nothing. It's beautiful. I have the shade 1, which I don't think is the best shade for me. I did confirm Kaki has shade 2 of this, so that's probably the shade I would be. But kind of like with the Glossier foundation, which I've been talking about a little bit more recently, it's a little bit light, but it does work out in the end. And I don't think if I decide to keep this, it wouldn't be something that I would feel the need to run out and exchange. All that being said, let's get this on my face. So I was nervous. A lot of the things I've tried from Danessa Myricks have had a scent. And I've also heard that the Yummy Skin Serum has a scent. The Groundwork Shadow Palette, that's had a scent. I don't understand. Danessa Myricks, again, a lot of the stuff that she chooses to do confounds me. But let's put this on. This does not. And it is by far my favorite thing that I have tried from Danessa Myricks up until this point. It's been a little bit bits and bobs. I have a couple of the like liquid shadows and I like them, but they're not at the forefront of my mind, really. However, this, since I've gotten in my grubby little hands, has just been like, I'm putting on makeup, I'm putting on the Yummy Skin. It's just, they go hand in hand. I believe I was wearing it in Critical Sass, the most recent Critical Sass I did. There's just my hair's everywhere. Like I said, it's a little not the right shade for me. Once we have like the rest of the face on, it's not gonna read as exaggerated. The finish on it It's so great. It's so good. I don't know that it really like does a lot of blurring. And sometimes I complain about that because I really like blurring. However, I just think it's just so forgiving to the skin, like in all aspects of it. It really takes a lot of boxes when it comes to a complexion product for me. I think it looks really good. And I also think that this really worked well as a primer too. The amount of complexion I have right now. So these are the things I have to decide on. This, the Yummy Skin, the Glossier, the Makeup Forever. I can't show you that one yet. The Christian Louboutin. And I also have this iconic London. So like I have so much complexion stuff right now. Oh, also I have this. I was going to put this on my under eye, but I like wearing this as a foundation more than right on the under eye. I think it's a little too thick for the under eye, but I love wearing it as a foundation. I've shown it to you in a couple videos. I like let you know that I was wearing it. This is the Ritual Defee Lab Access Concealer, the Creator Concealer. Gorgeous. Gorgeous as a foundation. I don't have anything new for bronzer or contours. I'm just gonna like do that really quick and then we'll hop right into some more makeup. I feel like I just did not describe at all very well what I thought of this Yummy Skin foundation, like skin tint. Tried it. The first time I tried it, it was off camera. I was like kind of digging around and I used my hands to apply it because like skin tint, historically my best go at a skin tint has always been a hand application. And I put it on and it was like too light, as you can see, it's a little bit too light for me. I think that applying it with my hands kind of just like emphasized that because I was seeing like this right next to it. I'm not far from this shade, by the way. After I applied it completely and I applied the rest of the makeup, I was like, wow, my skin looks incredible. Makes my skin look so good. Like I don't really quite know the magic of it because I wouldn't call it like a blurring foundation. It's just like the perfect amount of coverage. Just like, and also I talked about this a little bit before that it's, and if you watch Khaki channel, she's kind of talked about this before. It's really hard to fairly assess the performance of a foundation if it doesn't match you. And even though this doesn't like a perfect match for me, I still am about it. It reads really well on camera. It reads really well in life. It's like, and that's kind of hard to find. A lot of the times the stuff I like to wear in real life on camera, it doesn't register as beautiful as it does in real life. This one does both. It really does both. It doesn't really look like I'm wearing makeup in real life. It's incredible. It's like, I don't know how she did it, but very impressed. I'm gonna apply the Phytosurgeon's bronzer. I've tried so hard to keep my brushes organized, and I am so bad at that. This is the Kabuki brush from Sigma, the F80. I'm gonna try it with the bronzer from Phytosurgeon's, because this does need a little bit of work to get picked up. That did it. So I have some more brushes on the way. I reached out to Refer, and they offered to send me a bunch more of their collection. And then I know they released some synthetic brushes, because all the ones I have right now are the natural hair brushes. But I am curious on their take of a synthetic brush. I'm wondering if I would like their synthetic brushes more than their natural hair brushes. Although I don't have all the new ones in my hand. I think one of the brushes I asked for is out of stock. And so my order's just my order, but it's kind of stuck. Interesting. Sometimes whenever you get PR, it's like they place like a phantom order for you and you can see the thing. I think something I asked for was out of stock. And so I'm just kind of like waiting for them to send it to me. So I'll have more Refer brushes to play off of, because I think with the eye brushes I have, the shapes that I got initially, I haven't found incredibly useful to me for the most part. The face brushes I like a lot more, but I haven't been gravitating towards the Refer brushes. I'm hoping with some more brush options, I might find some things there that I might reach for more. Full honesty, I'm still reaching for my Wayne Goss brushes for eyeshadow the most. It just is what it is. It's just who I am, unfortunately. So this is from Lukey. I have been gravitating towards these a little bit more. Not so much on camera. I like them, although they are $32. I remember whenever I linked them the first time, because the first time I tried them, I didn't know how much they were. But like, they're in the $30 range. And that feels like a little bit high to me. The amount you get and like, I like the packaging, but like, you know, I'm feeling a little bit like, I don't know that I would spend that much money on them, but I have been playing with them. They are super cute. It's somebody's aesthetic, like this kind of thing. So it might be worth $30 $2 to some of you, but I just want to be honest about that. And also I've had an issue, like this one came loose again. A couple of them came loose when I first got them, and I glued them back in and this one's already loose again. It's just something to note, like for $30-ish, for it to kind of come a little bit rattled. It's a small indie brand. I'm not trying to come for their neck too hard because I do actually really like the product inside. So, and that's what I want to focus on. I pulled out the shade Blossom Bloom. And I don't think this is the one that I'm thinking of, or maybe it is, because there's like two pink shades. There's a pink coral, which is this one, and there's like one of those bright pinks. So I wore the bright pink one the other day. I really liked the way it looked. I forget what that shade's called. Here I go again with this shade. I find these cream blushes pretty easy to use. They remind me a lot of like powder blushes that I really enjoy, meaning like the pigmentation's not super instant, meaning that you can build it up. Another thing that I have noticed recently, like I knew this, IRL, my blush looks better than it does on camera most of the time, because on camera, sometimes I feel like it doesn't even look like I've put on blush, just because the camera is reading it differently than real life would. But I feel like I have an appropriate amount of blush IRL a lot of the time. So I'm going to try to make a habit of just putting on more blush when I'm on camera. Just so if I'm demoing a blush for sure, so you can actually like really see the color of it. But sometimes you get washed out by the lighting. And I think that blush for me is the thing that is the most affected by it. Oh, and then also just a side note, BK Beauty gave me a promo code. So it's promo code hautemess, HAUTEMESS. It gets 10% off. You can't combine it with other things, and it's affiliated. If you wanted to buy any BK Beauty brushes based on my recommendation, feel free to use my code. You don't have to use my code. It's okay. Either way. And the reason I brought it up is not because I was just using this brush, is that I think this is my favorite brush I've ever had. It's come to the point where any cream like cheek product I'm starting. It's incredible. This is the BK Beauty 109. I love this brush. I like really love this brush. Let me powder my face. I'm continuing to test this Covergirl one. So I'll just throw that on real quick. I'm so close to finishing my Charlotte Tilbury powder. So like, I really just want to keep using it. Like I'm so close. We're testing new makeup and this is still new to me. You know what's so funny? Just a little bit of an honesty moment here. Sometimes, I mean, recent days, I have found it pretty hard to film. And not because I don't enjoy it, but like getting myself to do it has been the chore. It's a lot like working out. Like if you're someone who, I mean, maybe if you have the same mindset as me, I have the mindset like I hate working out until I'm in the middle of working out. I'm like, oh, this isn't that bad. But getting to workout, getting to the point where like I'm like on the machine or I've like started the workout video that I'm going to do, up until that point, it's like a devastating part of my day. And then I do it and I'm like, wow, that was so easy. If I just would have like not kept putting it off, it would have just been easier. I've been feeling that way about filming, but I've noticed a direct correlation to my willing to film being much higher after a video I post as well. And that makes a lot of sense. It's like, here's a treat. You got a treat and now you want to do more. And like, you know, I still like making videos even if no one watches them, but it's like one of those things you notice it. You know, I just was like noticing that about myself because I just did Critical Sass. As I film, the After Sass went live and it is doing better than Critical Sass was this far into the day, which is pretty incredible. And I'd never expect the After Sass to do as well because it's like, I don't know, it's not talking about new makeup, but it has been doing well. I've been doing Skillshare classes about how to like build my SEO and how to make better thumbnails. Put in a little bit of work, right? I'm putting in a little work. And it's not because I feel like my channel was stagnant. It's just I'm doing this more and I want to be more, well, I'm not doing it more. I'm doing it less, but I do want to be more proficient about whenever, like when I am posting. So, you know, just kind of like symbiosis, symmetry. What's that called? Synergy. So, you know, I'm just learning things. I'm realizing things and I'm realizing things. Oh, I thought I still had that over here. I move stuff away from the vanity when I'm done testing it, when I like know for sure my feelings on it. I put them in a box and then when I feel like I have enough stuff to talk about in that box, we're gonna come back and talk about it all. Anyway, this was already in the box and I already do know my feelings on it, but I wanted to bring it back because I feel like I tested it a couple times off camera. When I did my Sigma first impressions video, I feel like some people felt like I was pretty dismissive of it. So I've tried it a few more times in my own free time. And I did try it with a fan brush and it is really pretty with a fan brush. It's still not a highlighter that's to my taste. So there it is. A little more controlled, a little more finessed than the first time I put it on. But I was using their brushes the first time I put it on. I could definitely achieve something really ethereal with it. It's just, you know, my feeling on it is just that, like, it's not superior to some of my other powder highlights. And I think another thing is I've just not been really wearing powder highlights that much anymore. I feel like it has a number of things going against it, and it just, unfortunately, is like, it's just, of the Sigma stuff I tried, it's still the thing that I find the least impressive. We have quite a few eye things. I want to dip back into the Basic Witch palette. I want to talk about this a little bit more because I've tried this a little bit more off camera. So I have some more feelings and thoughts on the formulas. And I also have some stuff from Half Magic that we will try on the eyes today. So I have both the Glitter Puck, and I also have this eyeliner in Microcosm. It's a glitter eyeliner. I had filmed my video where I talked about wanting glitter eyeliner, and then I hadn't posted yet. And then Andromeda had already sent me this. And they were like, I haven't watched your video yet, but I literally have sent you one of the things that's in your thumbnail, and it was this. So glitter eyeliner. Sometimes you just have to put the energy out there, right? So you just have to put the energy out there that you like want a thing or like you desire a thing, and sometimes it just comes to you. I mean that more metaphorically. I'm not saying that everyone, if you just think about makeup, it might come to you. I feel like that's a little more common for me in the place that I am in this job. I mean, your dreams too. Put it out there, and maybe, you know, maybe the world will give it back to you. I'm gonna prime my eyes real quick off camera. In the Bellabeautébar palette, I want to use some of the pinks again. I know the last time I used on camera, I used some of the pinks, but Lauren May Beauty just did that video about like how everything's pink. So I'm gonna be pink. It's hi, it's me. I'm gonna be pink. And I'm wearing pink. I've been getting a lot of compliments about like wearing this shade of pink as a top. And the reason I really don't wear this color very often, not so much in videos, but just like in my day-to-day, is why it's not a color that's more heavily featured in my clothing collection. I'm just a really messy person. There are just stains on my clothes sometimes where I'm like, sometimes I get too excited when I'm drinking coffee, and like I'll just like open my mouth like a little too soon, and you know, when I talk, and I have coffee all over. It's just, I don't know. I can't be trusted with things that aren't really black. Really, I can't be trusted beyond black. What I wanted to say about this palette, now that I've like a little more familiar with it, I think this is the most phenomenal indie matte shadows that I have ever tried. That sounds like maybe a bit of an exaggeration, but one of the downfalls I think of most indie eyeshadow brands is their matte offerings, especially whenever they're in a palette. I always find that the mattes are tough to use. They don't work the way I want them to. I say this all the time, but like I like things that build or, you know, blend. And I find that a lot of indie mattes tend to be pack and play. So just like pack it on, then pack and blend. And like, that's just not my favorite way to apply eyeshadow. It's not that I don't have the skills to do it. It's just like, that doesn't feel like how I want to put on makeup. And so I want to buy from brands that have eyeshadows that work the way I want to. And a lot of indie brands mostly offer up eyeshadows, and then the next thing they might offer up is a blush and then a highlighter. And we all know that my one true love when it comes to makeup is complexion. So like, and I know why indie brands aren't making foundations. It's expensive, especially if you're going to make an inclusive shade range. It's just really, really expensive. And I don't think that eyeshadows are as expensive to make, and you can offer a bunch more. So I just want to like commend Bellabeautébar for like managing to make like such a beautiful matte formula, because it is just exquisite, and I like working with it. And I think another thing that stops me a lot from buying from indie brands too, beyond the matte thing, which is certainly one of the problems I have. But you might also disagree. Like that might be the way you like to apply eyeshadow. So you probably don't run into that problem as much with indie brands as I do. It's something that it's just, you know, the way that I feel. Some indie brands, not all of them, but some indie brands I feel like are really bad at marketing their own products. Texture is really important. Texture is really important. And I think a lot of what we turn to indie brands for, especially with their shimmers, is like beautiful textures. Whether that be a satin or be a metallic or be something that has like a lot of, you know, shimmer particles in it. Like I think where indie brands excel is like the textures that mainstream brands can't seem to do. I find that a lot of the photography and I'm not just saying this about Bellabeautébar, like I think they're a little bit better, but I just think across the board, I think with indie brands, the photography that they utilize that isn't stuff that they, you know, maybe paid for swatches or something. Like, I know so many people who get indie eyeshadow PR, and when they swatch it, I'm salivating at the mouth, and I'm like, what is that? And then they tell me where the palette is, and then I go to that brand's like Instagram or their website, and I like see the palette. Just, it's like I never would have bought that palette had those influencers literally not done the work to show me what the textures are, like on even arm swatches. I'm not even talking about like swatches on the eye. Love a swatch on the eye. I think that's really telling too. But you know what I mean? I just felt like talking a little bit about how I feel about indie eyeshadow brands. I continue to be impressed with the Basic Witch palette. I'm not super familiar with Bellabeautébar's catalog. I'll have to look into it, but if they ever made like a dreamy, spicy neutrals palette. I mean, not that I want it to be called that, but like we've talked to people on Instagram have been like doing their own spicy neutral palettes. If they ever did a spicy neutrals palette, I'd be like so into that. But I'm also very into this. It's just, you know, this color story and eyeshadow palettes in general. My brain doesn't really work like that. There are some eyeshadow palettes that I really love that I have not reached for this year at all. We're almost 3 entire months deep into the year, and there are eyeshadow palettes that I have not touched in my collection. Ones that I've chosen to keep over all of the other ones. I decluttered so many of my eyeshadow palettes, and there's still eyeshadow palettes that are languishing in my makeup collection because it's just like my brain doesn't register eyeshadow palettes anymore. All right, let's talk about this glitter puck. Here it is. This is from Half Magic. I first interacted with one of these. There's a sponge in it. I keep the sponge in it. I'm not sure if you have to. It feels like maybe you should, but it's literally a puck of glitter. The brand sells it as this like multi-use product. And I don't know that I agree. I think it doesn't have like an incredibly strong base, but it has one, like an eyeshadow. And so to me, it's an eyeshadow. And if it's an eyeshadow, a very generous amount of eyeshadow, you get 8.5 grams. Like a lot of bronzers have 8.5 grams of product, or like around that or a little bit more. And I have 8.5 grams of that. It is really pretty. It is really pretty. Every time I put it on my face, I'm like, that is pretty. I'm just gonna use my finger to put on the eye. One of the brand's posts about it came up in my TikTok feed. It was an ad, and it was Donnie. I think that's her name. And she was like, there's literally no fallout. And I was just like, I don't believe you. Not for 1 second. And she just applied it with her finger. Now, I've applied it with my finger. I've applied it with a brush. It applies beautifully both ways. If you get a brush that's not super dense, then you can kind of get away with using it as a highlighter, but I still think it has too much base pigment. But it is so pretty. It's reading like yellow on camera. There is like, look at that. Look at the leftover. It's gorgeous. My issue I'm running into with it, and I certainly got fallout, by the way. I don't care about fallout. I just think it was brave and bold to say this puck of glitter is not going to have any fallout. It's a puck of glitter. Of course it's going to have fallout. Like, I don't know. It's any brand that claims to not have fallout in their shimmers. I'm like, it's okay. I think we all just kind of know at this point. Now, definitely some formulas do it more than others. Just hearing her say that, I was just like, baby, you don't have to lie. You don't have to lie to us. That's okay. Really gorge. Okay, let me put on the other eye. I guess what I'm coming down to as I continue to play with it is just like, if they made these, and I think, well, one, I would like to see more shades of it. It only comes in this shade as of currently, as I record this. There's only one shade of it. Would love to see both more shades, and I also would rather them drop the price and sell at half the size. I just think that no one's going to use this up. Now, whenever I talked about this in Critical Sass, because we're now doing this long enough where sometimes things I talked about in Critical Sass and it said I wouldn't buy them have now come into my life. You know, that was when this glitter puck launched. I thought it was going to be more like the Ritual de Fille Metamorphic highlighters, and it's not like that at all. I'm not really sure what the bonding agent that's in it, because it is, you know, it is all together. It's not like loose in there, but I wouldn't say that it's like creamy, balmy like a lot of Ritual de Fille products are. It's not like that at all. It just feels it kind of just feels like a big thing of eyeshadow. And here, I'll put some on my cheek. It's not my desired look, and I know I already have some stuff on there. I'll use the same fan brush, But I think the way it falls apart whenever I try to apply it as a highlighter is the sparkles are a little bit inconsistent. And if I'm using something that has sparkle in it on my cheek, which I don't immediately dismiss anymore. I have some products that definitely have some sparkle on them. For some reason, whenever I apply it on my cheek, it's not as gorgeous. It's not the same. And I guess, besides my eyes and cheeks, I wouldn't know where else to put this. I just don't know in what universe I'm going to need this much of this. But you might disagree. This might be something that you would put all over your face. So, yeah. Look at that. Oh man, it's so pretty. It's so sparkly. I like this product. I do. I've used it a couple times now. I really enjoy playing with it. Who needs this much of it? That's why I think it would be much better for like smaller pots of it. Because I think if they make more colors of it, I would want more variety of colors and less of a size of them. Because imagine if this was something that you were really into and they released more shades and you wanted to buy other shades. And let's say you buy 6 of them. Then you have to store 6 things this big, which it just feels pretty unrealistic to have that big of an eyeshadow. Because in my brain, it's just an eyeshadow, right? And you might feel differently. On camera, I feel like it looks better as a highlighter than it does in real life. I don't really care for the way it looks. Whenever I use it as a highlighter, I think the first thing I think of is the Fenty Diamond Balm. And it's not like that at all. It's not as consistent as the sparkle in there. And the Diamond Balm, at least How Many Carats, which is the shade I have, there's no base pigment to it. It's just glitter. There is obviously something bonding it together, like making it that putty formula. When it goes onto the skin, it's really, really consistent. And this goes on consistently on the eyes, but I don't feel like it has that same thing on the cheek. I know that Andromeda uses this all over their face, and I love that for them. They're very much they love a sparkle face. And that's not a read. It's just true. I figure since I already pulled this out, I don't really want to say it's part of like the look. I do want to put on the glitter liner. If I was just doing this look to go about my day, I would stop here. I probably wouldn't throw on the glitter liner, but I just want to throw on the glitter liner just to show it to you. And again, this is the shade Microcosm. Here it is. This is a brush tip applicator. It's not focusing, but it is. You're going to see the sparkles. And they're really gorgeous sparkles. I'm just going to put it right along the waterline. Again, not the waterline, but right above the lash line. Again, this is just to kind of demo it. Not really what I would call a look. I have worn these this couple times too, and it's a really great formula. I guess I don't understand why Half Magic isn't celebrated a little bit more, because I have found for it to be these like glittery things, they do it very well. Like they do it very well. However, I think kind of just like with the indie brands, like with the indie eyeshadow brands, what Half Magic fails to do is like sell the fantasy of what it is. I understand that the person who created the brand was the makeup or is the was the makeup artist on Euphoria, and it started this like trend. The marketing for Half Magic is like not meeting me where I'm at, I guess, in the expectation. However, now using the products and putting them on my face, I feel like I get a better understanding of like how she achieved the looks on Euphoria. Like I understand like what she's after. I would love more shades of this. I do have a gold one. Andromeda also sent me this one. But I think there are some other shades. This is Holy Goldie. They're both hollows, so silver hollow and a gold hollow. I'm wondering if some of the other ones aren't hollows. I like a hollow. Like, it's very impressive. I kind of like them as standalones, not really like mixing them with other things. I think I would like this even better in a formula that wasn't hollow, but it's really gorge. Look at all the sparkle. Have fun. Okay, I'm going to put on eyeliner and zoom you back out. I have 2 options as far as like new lip products go. Andromeda also sent me this. This is the Half Magic Sculptitude 2-in-1 lip liner. So it's like a double-ended lip liner, and I have the one that has black on one side and like a taupe on the other. If nothing else, I do want to swatch the taupe shade next to Endless Cacao just to see how similar it is. If you're a patron or member of mine, you watch the podcast, I talked about this in a podcast episodes. It was either the one that just went up or the one that went up two times ago. Covergirl a while ago asked if they could send this, and then they did. And I agreed. I did want to try it. And they sent me the whole line. They sent me all of the shades they offer in that. And I thought that was going to be it. I thought that was going to be the last thing I would ever get from Covergirl unless they reached out to me again. Well, the one day, a box full of Covergirl lip stains showed up on my front porch. They sent me the whole line. I kept 3. Tiff took the rest of them. I'm going to speak for them first. I'm going to speak for Tiff. Tiff has worn these kind of like non-stop since. They've been wearing like a bold red one of these to work fairly regularly, and they're a big fan of them. I don't know that I love them as much as they do. So immediately when I got these, I texted Kelly Gooch and I said, girl, I have all these CoverGirl lip stains. I've never worn a lip stain. And that, God honest truth, I've never worn a lip stain before. And these are like old school. I remember my friends in high school having like these marker tipped lip stains. It's given a vibe. So when I texted Kelly, she was like, you can put it all over your lips, but she was like, I highly recommend using it as like a lip liner. And it's going to be a lip liner that stays really well. And then whatever you put on top of it will distract from any of the imperfections from the lip stain. And I know that Kelly does that. I do watch Kelly's videos. I don't want you to think that I don't. It would have come to me eventually, like watching Kelly one day doing that with one of her lip stains. I would have been like, oh, okay. I will try that. So I can't really speak to this drying out the lips because I've just kind of put a gloss on it every time. Even if I wear it all over the lips, I'm putting a clear balm or something on top of it because I don't think I like the way the lip stain looks on its own. I like it as an enhancer for other things. But as I said, Tiff loves this as standing on its own. They like will wear it as its own lip product. They like tell me how much they love them every time they wear them. So these are the CoverGirl, Outlast lip stain. Okay, I thought there might be like a longer name. Let's go back to this real quick. And then I think let's put on the lip stain. Let's just go that route. I have Endless Cacao from Makeup Forever. I've actually been getting on with this quite well, this Half Magic lip liner. I've actually really liked it a lot. And my favorite way to wear it is I like to kind of wear the taupe most all over the lip almost. And I like the black on the outsides, but whenever I blend it out, it like blends into the taupe and just, adds depth. It's so great. Endless Cacao from Makeup Forever is on top, and on the bottom is the taupe shade from Half Magic. And I'll swatch the black too, but it is just in fact black. I was a little bit scared of the black lip liner because I was like, I don't know how often I'm gonna use that. I do have a black lipstick, so I can use it for that, but I kind of like them together. I didn't think I would use the black at all, but I have found a use for it. But it does appear that Endless Cacao and this taupe shade, they're basically the same. I would say the one in Half Magic is maybe a little deeper, and the consistency of these is much, much creamier than the Makeup Forever one. I do prefer something a little bit stiffer for the lips, and I like things that sharpen. That's just my preference. I'm gonna wipe off the lip balm I still have on, and then I will apply the CoverGirl. All I wanna do is be your one and only lover. I'm gonna do like the lip liner method that Kelly had recommended to me. They have a little bit of a scent to them. It's not super strong. It does kind of give me the vibe of like an old magic marker. So there I have it as a lip liner. So this isn't too far off my lip shade, but I think you can see the depth that it added, especially like in the outer corners. But you have a little bit of time to blend it out if you should choose to do that with this or a product like this. Well, this product specifically, because this is the one I have, I'm not using a different thing, is why I don't like wearing it all over my lip. It really likes to catch on dry patches. And it's darker on the dry patches. So I feel like to wear it all over your lip, you would have to like exfoliate a lot, and like your lips would have to not be dry. If you're not prone to dry lips, maybe this would be something you could wear confidently all over. I don't really know how Tiff does it, but they do. It looks good on them. They don't seem to have that issue. It seems to only happen to me. I'm just gonna use one of my lip glosses. This is the shade Future Femme from Pat McGrath. I have also found in the 3 shades that I've kept from this lip stain collection to test, they're not all kind of made the same. I have a berry one and I don't really like that one. The shade I used today was shade 45. It's the shade called Brazen Raisin. And I actually really like this shade. There's another shade I haven't even tried yet. It's called Natural Blush. I'll swatch all three. Natural Blush is on top, Plum Berries in the middle, and then Brazen Raisins on the bottom. When you look at the outside of Plum Berry, it looks like it's going to be a lot more unique than it turns out to be. It's just literally a berry. You can see how whenever I put the lip gloss on, it just adds that little bit of dimension. So I really like them as a lip liner. I would say that would be my use case for this as a lip liner. But if you're into lip stains, you might like it. I have no idea how much these cost. Let me look that up. So Target's selling them for $9 and Ulta's selling them for $12. The way that drugstore prices are different in different places, I don't really quite understand that. Like, I know there's always a manufactured retail price. For some reason, drugstore makeup is always wildly inconsistent. So $12, I don't know about $12. $9, I guess, is a little more reasonable. But I paid $12 for this powder. And I'm saying that as someone who doesn't buy a lot of drugstore makeup. If this was $5 or $6, I think 6 is where I would cap out. I would be like, absolutely very fun to play with, to try if you've never tried something like this. $9 to $12, I feel less impressed with it. Like, I feel like it should change my life a little bit more. And I think it also has to do with like the feel of the product in the hands. Like, I don't know what I would expect from a lip stain marker, but $9 to $12 feels a little steep. However, I wouldn't ever buy a luxury version of this either. So maybe it is the right price. Maybe that is the right price in this current state of the world, that in this market. I like them. Don't love them. Which is why I think if it was $6, I'd be like, great. Great fun thing to experiment with. $12. I don't know. I would say that. I would suggest that as like an experiment. Anyway, I think it's time for me to wrap up the video. Let me do a quick run through of everything I used. This as a primer, I think, worked really well. And I think maybe if you have this and you struggled using it as a foundation, try it as a primer. The Danessa Myricks Yummy Skin Serum Skin Tint. Gorgeous. Stunning. Really love this. Love this. It's like it was like instant attraction. And I don't have that very often with complexion products. So that's very exciting to me. It has yet to really let me down. The Lukey blush. Gorgeous. Beautiful. I continue to enjoy it. The Covergirl powder continues to be a slay. The Sigma highlighter, which has other stuff on top of it now. Great. Still not to my taste though. Still wouldn't buy it myself. The glitter puck, gorgeous. Still confounded about how I need this much of it, but you'll let me know in the comments. The Basic Witch palette is really, really gorgeous. I think this is $65. Here's what I'll say. I guess I want to break this down just like a little bit. This is like an indie brand, and your money's kind of going directly to like one or few people if you're buying from an indie brand. And I'm not really sure how much their markup is, because they're hand making this. Time and effort goes into stuff like this. And I'm talking about every indie brand. I'm sure choosing how to price yourself is pretty difficult. This has the same amount of shades as a Natasha Denona 15-pan palette, and those are $65 too. So I don't know. To me, that's like, they're both the same product, if that makes sense. They're both eyeshadow palettes. You're getting the same amount of shades. And if for some reason you think that this is too highly priced, but you don't think Natasha Denona is, there's some cognitive dissonance happening. Now, some of you wouldn't buy a Natasha Denona palette, and you also wouldn't buy a $65 indie eyeshadow palette. I'm just saying, just like food for thought there, in case that was where your brain was going. Like, Huda palettes with this many shadows in it are $70. Makeup by Maria palettes with this many shades in it are like that expensive too. So it's like, it's priced competitively. I don't know, maybe not competitively. It's priced the same amount as like mainstream brands. So if you don't think indie brands deserve to be charging the same pricing just because you think they should cost less, that's a you problem. It's not the indie brand's problem. I just want to say that. I love, where is it? Where'd it go? The glitter pill. Did I put it away? I have enjoyed this as well. I haven't had any issues with this yet. I'm not saying that because I think I'm going to, just honesty. The lip stains. You're gonna have to make that call on whether or not you think it's worth $9, $12, wherever you might buy it. If Ulta ever has them on sale, or if you're ever at like a Rite Aid and they're like 50% off, then 100% yes. At full price, no. Especially, well, At full price, if lip stains are your thing, then maybe they're probably worth it. But if lip stains aren't your thing and like you're intrigued to do like the lip liner thing, then I would try to find a deal on them. That's the end of the video. Thank you so much for watching. If you're new to my channel and you're not yet subscribed, I would love to have you subscribe. You can just click the button. While I did talk about new to me makeup and newer makeup to the market in this video, that's not really the focus of my channel. I do like to do that to keep things spicy, to have my hand in a little bit of new makeup releases because, you know, just to keep myself current with formulas. But the main point of my channel is to love my makeup collection first and foremost and spend time with that. I want to help you and help myself build the habit of being more discerning about what we're buying. I do get PRs sometimes, not all the time, but I do get some PR. That obviously does change my relationship with things. And I do some brand reviews. I do buy makeup for review. So just as we do this, you have to just continue understanding that my relationship to my makeup and the makeup that comes in from PR or the things I buy from you, it's going to be different than your relationship to makeup as someone who isn't doing that. If you like to watch someone use what they have, be really critical of makeup brands, then I would love to have you subscribe. Make sure you like this video, share it with anyone you think might find it interesting. I'm on patreon.com and I have channel memberships. They're both the same. You don't have to join both. You could join one or the other or neither. That's also an option. You don't need to join my Patreon. You don't need to give me any of your money. Watching, sharing, commenting, liking is the best way to support my channel. But if you are a channel member or a patron, thank you so much. You guys are so fab. Remember to follow your hope and you'll find me and I'll see you in a video very soon. Go forth, tits out. Bye-bye.